love that generic rock and roll. Yeah, it's awesome. Good evening.
Hello. I got to
I
figure out how
can,
to fade this out. See, I can just someday I'm gonna figure out how to fade that out.
oh, the fade out. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll get
because
there.
it's like I don't know how to do this.
Hey, at least we're back after two
Oh, it's still
weeks.
going. I know it's been a while.
Well,
It's been too long.
let's see. I was laid up after falling, and I was sick.
And then falling again.
And then falling again. First time I busted my head. Second time I busted my leg. Well, I can still walk, and I'm still healing. I got another week or two before I'm back to normal. But I can work at least, so I can make money. But yeah, that's good. But I'm alive.
Nice,
I'm all right.
nice,
I'm feeling.
nice.
And you were sick
No, I've not
on
been sick.
vacation,
I've just been like working like crazy.
and
I
you took a couple of small vacations too.
I no, I haven't
Well, I thought you
actually.
went to. Didn't you go to San Francisco?
Oh yeah, I did just like for one day. That's been like a month ago.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that was like an extendo weekend, but no.
No, it was like just one day
Right on.
for a specific thing. I wouldn't even call it a vacation really, and it was cold
Uh,
as hell there.
uh,
Not
yeah,
the greatest, not the greatest of trips.
San Francisco can get chilly, definitely this time of
Yeah,
year.
for sure. What you drinking
Cheers.
tonight? Water,
Water for me, yep, and prosecco for you.
prosecco.
Good old prosecco, baby. Cheers and happy Sunday, March 9th,
Right.
2025. And we are how many days into the 6 weeks into the Trump administration?
God, is it only 6 weeks? Why
I
does it
know
feel like 6 years
it
already?
feels so long. It's so terrible. It's one of
Yeah,
it's just it's every day again, and that's their strategy is to inundate the airwaves with craziness every day. Just
yeah, to make it so that you can't keep up with all of it.
yeah, you can't keep up with all of it, and then a lot of things go by the wayside, but then they do some things like fire a gazillion people in the federal government and fire people that are needed.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the ones that go by the wayside are intended to. They're just meant to
Yeah.
sound batshit crazy, and they throw it out there as a distraction. So as we're all talking about Trump wanting to seize Greenland, like in the
Right,
meantime, they're dismantling Social Security and like the National Parks Program.
exactly. And you try to make people understand that, you know, so they're not going to cut the military at all. So what's the next biggest thing? Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, but yeah, listen though, Social Security, we pay for that. Like we pay
I
into
know
that.
it is. That's
So
what
if
I'm
they
saying.
cut Social Security, it's not like they're going to take less money from me and from you out of your paycheck.
Oh yeah,
They want to
they,
free up more money to give to Elon and to
yeah, they want to
military
funnel it to the rich.
contractors. Yeah, they want to funnel more. They got to free up more money so they can funnel more to their fucking, their cronies and their buddies.
We live in an oligarchy now, so
Yes, we do. Well, we have for a while.
we have for a while, but it's just more obvious now.
Well, the mask is off now. Like we have straight up
Right.
billionaires running the country, unelected billionaires. And
Exactly.
really, I mean, even if you go back to COVID, we had Bill Gates setting public health policy.
True.
And why? Is he elected? Is he a doctor?
Right.
Does he have any qualifications? No, he's just a motherfucker with a ton of money.
His qualifications were, what was it? He helped with malaria in Africa. That was one of the big
Well,
deals.
he did a lot of damage in Africa.
Did he? I haven't heard
Yeah.
about the damage, of course.
I think maybe it was India. There's one country that he got like kicked out of because he was experimenting with a bunch of shit there.
Really?
And yeah. He caused
Yeah.
a lot of problems.
Of course,
And
I
I
didn't
can't
hear
remember all the
about that.
details. It was stuff I read a few years ago.
From one of those radical rags you read.
I don't.
I'm just kidding.
I am a radical rag,
You are
a radical hag.
radical.
I'm really listen though. I'm really not. I'm really not radical.
No.
Most of the ideas that I support, like mainstream politicians and mainstream news people would say we're radical, but
Yeah.
most of what I want is completely in alignment with public policy or public opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Universal health care, free college, getting out of the wars,
Yeah.
shit like that. Like
And what-
those are all very popular ideas.
And what we want and what we're talking about right there is what they have in almost every other industrialized nation in the world, you know?
Yeah. And it's quite simple.
And they're not perfect. None of them are, but at least they try, you know,
They
instead of
do. And
throwing
statistically,
their
they
hands
all
up and
have,
saying,
yeah.
the rich throwing their hands up here and saying, oh, we can't do that, you know, can't have good, nice things. And so what do? They take away the Department of Education so they can make people dumber.
Well, they benefit from having dumb people in society, don't they?
Exactly. They benefit, but the country doesn't benefit. That's
No,
how
it
you,
doesn't. So society will
I
always
think,
be better by having more educated people.
yeah, you have a stronger country.
But you
So I
also
don't,
can't get by throwing complete bullshit at the wall
that's what I
as a
don't understand.
politician and, in a society that's educated.
They always talk about how they want a strong country, but then they don't want it really because they want a stupid populace that will do their bidding whenever they ask for it and not question anything. You know, we
Well,
have
he's
no.
not even really a populist. He's a fake populist. He's a
He's a
counterfeit
fake populist.
populist. He
He's
well,
a
he's
libertarian.
he speaks the language of it,
Of
and
course he
he
does.
harnesses the energy of populism.
And
But
people
at the end
believe
of
it.
the day, he's not going to come through for regular people.
Like
We had in 2016, we had the choice between a real populist and a fake populist.
right.
And unfortunately, the Democratic Party decided that they
They
would rather
fucked
have
up.
the fake populist than the real populist.
Yeah, they could have had Bernie. He could have won.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
living in a whole different world.
This whole debacle for the last 10 years would never have happened.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Hillary Clinton has a lot to do with it, with the problems that we're experiencing now.
I
And the
would, yeah,
Democratic
her,
Party structure.
her and the whole Democratic Party. Yeah, exactly. And what people tend to forget is because we've had these two parties for our whole lives and our parents' whole lives, you know, and most people can't think past their grandparents anyway. You know, they think this shit's written in stone and that these parties have always been here and they've always been in charge and they always will be, you know, and that's just not the way it is. It is right now because, and it won't change anytime soon, that's for sure. But people just have a excuse me, a very short memory. And I think I have heard it from some scientist somewhere. I was talking about most people, or some fact I read on one of my radical rags, that most people really only have a functional memory that goes back like 2 generations to their grandparents, and that's it. And I don't know hardly anyone like. Okay, I'm getting older. I'm 57. There's a lot of current pop culture things, you know, musicians and actors and actresses, younger, you know, talent that I know nothing about. But I do see them in modern movies, and I kind of learn their names, but it's just not important to me. But I also have a working knowledge of the history of our popular culture in this country, and you know, far back, you know, way past vaudeville, where you learn about things like that. And but no one has any understanding of that anymore. Like they don't know who some of the greatest rock and roll musicians were, you know, because all they know is whatever the passing thing is right now. And you know, of course, I sound like an old man right now, but
You young kids.
These kids. I'm just saying that that's another lack in education is it's not teaching a history of our country, and not just popular culture, obviously, but you know, race relations and race in our country. But they just want to sweep it all under the rug. I mean, that's another reason they want to get rid of the Department of Education as well. I'm sure. Not only do they want to make sure people are stupid, they don't want to give them the truth, the reality of what happened in our country and what continues to happen in our country.
It goes back to education. And you have Trump lately saying, let's go back to the 1890s.
Right.
And most of his followers, and I would argue that even him, don't even know what the 1890s were. I mean, yeah, people like him
about the first Gilded Age.
I mean, it was the Gilded Age,
yeah.
Right? He wants to go back to that, with tenement housing, where people are renting like floor spaces,
exactly,
because nobody can afford to live, where children are working.
No labor laws, yeah.
There's no labor laws. There's no weekends, and so this goes back to people thinking like the parties
they
are
want to
just
get rid of child labor laws.
You know? Yeah, for sure, they do. But I mean, it goes back to just how people think the two parties just are what they are. They're institutions. They're
Right.
part of the, they're not. They're two private entities. But people always think about like the weekend. Like there's so many things that are taken for granted that were fought for, and people literally died
Yeah.
for
They
labor
really
protections,
died.
for weekends, for paid vacation, for all the things that we enjoy. But how many generations ago was that, right?
Right.
And unions are dying out
Go back
at
to
the
that
behest
short
of the
memory
people.
again.
Yeah, right. And the people that are supporting the death of labor unions are the ones that are going to be hurt the most by it.
Yes. Yes, they
Because they've
are.
been buying Trump's bullshit.
Yep. Because they believe everything he says.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say that. Like when you watch, I'm sure you've seen The Daily Show with Jordan Klepper when he's been to all these rallies.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks to people, and just the dichotomy that's going on, the disgusting, awful things that I said on the shirt, like Hillary, what a bitch, or just whatever it was, and then they talk about how they want women to be respected and blah 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 and this and that, and then he points out the shirt, and they're like, well, ha ha ha, it's just like it's no big deal. But I lost my point there before I wandered off.
All good.
Jordan Klepper, yeah. But what was your last point?
I don't remember.
Yay.
But this does kind of bring us into the topic I kind of want to talk about today. And it kind of will come full circle, but it might seem a little bit off topic.
Let us jump in.
But I don't know. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like airliners and ocean liners and things like that. So I follow like the ocean liner scene, and I don't know how many people even know the difference between an ocean liner and a cruise ship, right? They're not the same thing.
No, ocean liner is meant to go across the ocean.
Yeah, like on a regular schedule, they're a little heftier, they're faster.
Yeah.
There's only one in operation in the whole world right now.
That I did not know.
And that's the Queen Mary 2 that you can take
a
transatlantic.
Maybe I did know that.
Transatlantic voyage on. But, going back into the 1800s, that was the only way to cross the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal.
That'd be a fun vacation.
Right? Yeah, definitely a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
So there's such a huge part of history, and I'm nowhere near an expert, but there's a few YouTube channels I really like to watch that discusses a lot of the old ships and the just the culture around them and the history and the development of the different technologies that made them faster and better and whatever. But I don't know if you've ever heard of the Blue Ribbon. That was a thing that all the countries competed for. It was basically the fastest transatlantic crossing, and it would change hands, and it was a huge point of national pride. And they would build these ships to be the fastest across the Atlantic and to take the Blue Ribbon.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, it's not that much of a thing anymore because
we've moved beyond that.
Yeah.
Form of transportation. But
do you know what ship currently holds it?
I'm gonna guess an American ship.
It is, yes.
Well. What do you know?
Yes, it is. It is the
American exceptionalism wins again.
Well, it kind of is in this case. It kind of is the SS United States. It was built in, I believe, 1951, the early 50s, and
really to
this day, it holds the record for transatlantic crossing and the fastest ocean liners ever gone. I think 38 knots. 38 knots was the fastest. 3 days, 10 hours, and I can't remember how many minutes transatlantic crossing.
That is quick.
And so, I mean, 1952 or 3, I think it set the record.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 51. I don't remember.
Well, they've held it since?
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's kind of I'm gonna pull up this video here. I don't know if you're
for all you maritime nerds out there.
Seriously, I am. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm going to put this on here. This is a channel that I really like. It's called Ocean Liner Designs. This guy's in Australia, and he does like deep dives. Like he's like the coolest kind of ocean liner nerd.
Right.
But he's good. This is a little bit about the ship and the designer of the ship. Is it going to go? Where'd it go? What happened?
Come on.
I suck at
the SS United States remains the world's fastest passenger liner, having set the world's speed record at 38 knots. That's 70 kilometers per hour or 43 miles per hour. But how do you get something that's 990 feet long and weighs 47,000 tons to move that fast? During the Second World War, the US Navy had employed very powerful steam turbines on their fast battleships, and the SS United States was given a very similar set. This relied on the brute force of superheated steam running through the turbines at 900 degrees Fahrenheit This would then turn the turbine rotors at 5,000 revolutions per minute. This immense power was coupled with a long, thin hull, the thinnest of its kind, that enabled the ship to cut through the water like a knife through hot butter. The propellers were revolutionary too. They were designed by engineer Elaine Kaplan and were a closely guarded naval secret for years.
Designed by a woman.
The result of all of this was a record-setting,
In the 50s.
ocean-going hot rod that set a speed record for the fastest transatlantic crossing that still stands to this day, just 3 days and 10 hours.
3 days and 10 hours. That seems very fast, yeah. From what point to what point, do you know?
I believe usually Southampton to New York.
It was New York to where?
To Southampton in England.
Oh, in England, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was a pretty special ship. William Francis Gibbs designed it, and he was passionate. I think he went to school for I don't remember, like accounting or I don't remember, some bullshit.
Yeah.
But he was passionate about ocean liners.
Right on.
And he didn't really go to school for it, but he became like an ocean liner designer, architect. And I believe he designed the SS America too, which came, years before this one.
Oh, wow.
But this was like his passion project. This was like and it was partially funded by the government, and it was designed to be quickly converted into a troop ship because they found during World War I and World War II, they had, they commandeered all the ocean liners and they'd strip the interiors and turn them into troop ships.
Troop carriers.
So they designed this one to be, very modular in where they could take the interiors out and convert it really quickly. It was very fireproof. It had a slender hull, so it was, really, really fast.
Right.
And but in its heyday, like very like mid-century, it wasn't like the Titanic, like super ornate, but it was like trendy and mid-century in its design, its decor. Anyway, beautiful ship. Perfect example of when America was great, when we did great things, when we built big things and we did big things. Yeah. And do you know where the ship is now?
In the scrapyard.
Not quite.
Oh, okay. Where is
it? It's been sitting in Philadelphia for many, many years.
The harbor.
Deteriorating. I don't know if I have.
Falling apart.
Yeah. And there's been an ongoing dispute about rent. There's a conservancy group.
Oh, conservancy.
that have been trying for years to preserve it and to raise funds to preserve it. It would cost between $200 and $700 million to restore it.
200 billion?
No, but not billion, million.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a billion. I'm like, holy
no.
God. That doesn't seem cost effective.
Yeah, no, not billion. And so it's been sitting, and there was this dispute over rent. And finally, they have decided that they're going to tow it down to Florida, strip it, take it out, and sink it and turn it into a reef.
Oh, good. Make it useful.
It's not useful.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to agree with it.
Well, I have nothing to do with it.
Listen, dude, this thing is a national treasure.
Then why don't you get on the committee?
It still holds, well, I've been following it for a long time.
Yeah, there you go. That's a start.
But the point is
that
they're taking the flagship of the United States. They're going to strip it of anything that's valuable and then sink it in. We're literally sinking our fucking flagship.
I didn't really know about it until you told me.
That seems, most people don't. And I think if they did, they'd be like, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. I mean, even just the optics of it, like that from the standpoint of what the hell, like we're really going to sink our flagship. And so $200 million, like I looked this up as a percentage of GDP.
Yeah. It ain't much.
No, it is 0.00095238095.2% of GDP.
Jesus.
Wouldn't I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't cost that much. Yeah, seriously.
I just wanted to say that big word.
But it just goes to the fact of we don't know. And it was interesting that you brought up like people not knowing history more than a generation or two back. Because this is what I wanted to talk about is that, all these Make America Great Again people or whatever, they're taking something that, really is a representation, embodiment of, America being great and doing great things.
Right.
And unceremoniously just going to sink it in the ocean.
And I'll bet you 95% of the MAGA people don't even know about it.
They probably never even heard of it. Yeah.
Just like me.
But yeah.
But if they did, they'd probably get up in arms. Get them worked up about it.
I doubt it, because they really don't care about history. They don't understand. They don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just
there's no deep.
But this thing's a national treasure. What are we doing? There's literally almost no ocean liners left. Like if the original, the Queen Mary still exists. It's been parked in Long Beach, California.
Oh yeah, I remember that
for a really long time. You can go stay. That's bucket list thing for me too. Is to go
you can stay on it.
Yeah, it's a hotel.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
and it's gorgeous too. Very
and the
Art
restaurant
Deco.
And everything. Dancing,
oh yeah,
ballrooms, all that jazz.
Yeah, bars, restaurants.
Nice.
It's a full service hotel.
That'd be fun.
But it's
well, it ain't going nowhere.
I hope not.
No, I mean it's not gonna take a trip across the ocean. It's gonna
because there's really not any ocean liners left. I mean, Titanic is one of the few that still exists. Ironically, at the bottom of the ocean.
It's at the bottom of the ocean,
it's at the bottom, but it still exists. It hasn't been scrapped.
It does exist.
Which is what happens to most of them.
Well,
but we just don't have an appreciation for history. We don't have an appreciation for what came before us, and a pride in our community and in our country, and in just looking out for each other. And I don't know. Look at like a town and a main street from 50 years ago compared to now.
I know my neighbors on either side of me, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't. I don't know anyone. I live in this big building, and I don't know anyone lives here.
Yeah.
I see the same people in the elevators. I don't know who any of them are.
Right, but you don't know who they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like your buds.
I mean, but we grew up in a time where we were still at the tail end of it, where people took pride. I can't talk.
Come on, get over it.
We grew up at it's all the Prosecco.
Oh, the Prosecco.
We kind of grew up at the tail end of that time in history where
civic pride.
People joined the Lions Club and took pride in their communities and kept the cities clean and up to date and whatever. And now you drive through a city, and if you're in a rich neighborhood, you got good roads and sidewalks and infrastructure and it's clean. If you're in a poor area, they haven't replaced those roads and sidewalks in decades and they're falling apart. Whatever. There's no pride. There's no sense of community anywhere in this country.
Well, that's
even in the rich neighborhoods, they don't know each other. They don't care about each other.
No, that's a perfect example of just how our country's been, on that downward decline for the last. Well, I'll say it again.
Well, and what you end up with is a whole bunch of lonely people who feel cut off from the world, and many of whom feel cut off from the economy and from the American dream. And there's going to be a certain percentage of those people who go crazy and start shooting people.
Exactly. Like, what's the happiest country? Denmark?
Probably Denmark. It's got to be somewhere in Scandinavia.
I'm pretty sure it is. But let me look up to see where we're on that list. I'll bet we're way towards the bottom.
Oh, we're way at the bottom of the happiness index. We're like the bottom, I think, of industrialized countries.
They call it the Gross National Happiness Index. And then it goes on to tell how it's, measured. Why is it important? The state of global happiness. The number one country is Finland right now. But yeah, you're right. It was either going to be Finland or one of those countries. What is the U.S. ranked right now? In 2024, we were ranked 23rd for happiness, down from 15th in 2023.
Oh, we were up to 15. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we dropped down to 23, another 7 points or 8 points, something like that.
Well, when you live in a country that requires poverty, that requires literally probably a third of the country to live in poverty, you're going to be low on the happiness index.
Excuse me. Yeah. The happiest states are Hawaii, followed by Utah, Maryland, Minnesota. Yep. Maryland, that's where you're from.
That's where I'm from. Not anymore, but that's where
Minnesota, New Jersey, Connecticut, California, and Florida. Young people under 30 are less happy than their older counterparts and are feeling less supported by friends and family, less free to make life choices, and more stressed. Gosh, go figure. When you live in a dystopian fucking oligarchical hellscape.
Seriously, it's a hellscape where everything is about making money. Education is not about educating people. It's about rich people getting richer. Healthcare isn't about healing people; it's about getting rich people richer.
Well, and that's the big thing about all this mass firings and getting rid of Department of Education and everything else is they want to privatize everything. They've always been like that, especially on the right. I heard somebody say something good the other day. I can't remember. Oh, it was Chris Hedges, the journalist. I was watching. I think I sent you that video.
Stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Oh yeah, he's covered shit all over the world. So, but basically, he said, it really is a lesser of two evils whenever you're voting Democrat or Republican. Democrats, they're what did he say? Oh, they're the corporatists, and they want big corporations with big money. Sure, they want them to be in charge, but they feel, what did he say? Something else about that. But they still want you to feel like you have a choice. Whereas on the Republican side, it's about oligarchy. Yeah, just oligarchy and control and privatizing everything. And that's he's right.
I kind of feel like the Democratic Party of today, the mainstream, like the Pelosi wing of the party and the Schumer wing of the party, they are completely content to be the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Exactly.
They don't want to win. If they have to go outside of what their corporate overlords want, their corporate funders want, they just won't do it. And they'll be happy to just be there and fucking lose.
Right.
Because we saw it clear as day that the Democratic Party in 2016 would rather have Trump than Bernie.
Yep, exactly.
We saw it again in 2020. The Democratic Party establishment would rather have had Trump than Bernie.
Yep. They
and they probably still would, because if there's one thing that oligarchs fear, it's the left. It's the real fucking left, not the blue hair, woke college campus, whatever that they caricaturize everyone with, but the actual real left, the Bernie Sanders left, is what these fuckers are afraid of.
The ones who have the real levers of power.
Yeah,
exactly. They can call us hippies and shit all they want, but I say us, but I mean, we're more liberal than the Democratic Party, I think, but I know we are.
I don't even use the word liberal. I'm more like progressive.
Yeah, progressive. I guess they're still equate in my head.
I mean, liberal as opposed to conservative, yes.
But progressive is a good word, I think. Because
all the words get demonized, and like woke used to mean something different than what it means now too.
And if you ask any MAGA person what was the first big thing they were worried about that's only taught in graduate level classes about race?
Oh, critical race theory.
Critical race theory. You ask.
Well, they just make it up. They're like, they're teaching the shit to your kindergartners.
They're
teaching them that America sucks and white people are the worst and whatever. And they're teaching it in first grade. Like,
first of all, they're believing all the lies, and secondly, they don't even know what it is. And I'm sure it's the same with DEI. If you ask them what DEI stands for, they'd probably say, let's see.
They don't even know what the letters mean.
I can see him standing with Jordan Klepper now and him prompting them. Diverse? Is it a diverse kind of a statement? Is that what
it means? Anytime a black person or a woman has a job.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how they view the world and how they're twisted to believe these things.
They even believe that bullshit about teachers putting litter boxes in classrooms.
Oh my God,
they just believe it and they run with it. Like that motherfucker can say anything he wants, and those dipshits will just run with it and believe it.
They're eating the cats,
have you seen the thing about they're taking the mice and they're making the mice? We're paying millions and millions of dollars to make the mice transgender.
Oh, I heard something about. No, I only heard that on SNL. I was watching earlier.
Okay, so I think he said it in the State of the Union.
Did he?
He keeps talking about. Yeah, he keeps talking about.
I can't watch that, man.
We're spending all these millions of dollars on making transgender mice.
Mice.
But he doesn't know the difference between the word transgender and transgenic. Transgenic is a genetically modified mouse that they use to experiment with, like for medications and whatever.
What it was?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, does he actually?
I know he's stupid, but is he really that stupid?
Is he that stupid, or does he just assume that his followers are that stupid?
Well, maybe it's
because
both.
All he really needs is for his followers to be that stupid.
That's true. Exactly.
I saw the funniest meme earlier that was kind of a spoof on that, and I can't. Oh, that's right.
What was it?
Trump's gonna be really pissed when he finds out about that whole orchestra from Siberia that's all trans.
Oh my God, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's gonna lose the gasket.
What a dumb fuck, man. Jesus Christ. How do we have this dipshit as a president?
I know. Well, again, I bring it all back to Reagan.
And when do I move to Canada?
Yeah, no shit. Well, yeah, I've got friends.
I mean, even Reagan makes this dipshit look sane.
He does, even though what he did was not good. And
the
Heritage Foundation back then got a lot of shit through. Their Project 2025 back then had a different name, but it was all
about like trickle down.
10,000 pages bigger.
And they have fed that lie to
and they enacted a lot of that shit too.
And poor people will just eat that up.
Oh yeah.
That trickle down economics bullshit. I mean, they had to. So this goes back again to people not knowing history and understanding what the New Deal was, the reasons for it. And there was a reason that FDR won 4 terms and never lost an election.
Yeah.
And then, those programs kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And the Democrats controlled both houses until the mid-90s. Until Bill Clinton started taking corporate money.
Yep.
The Democrats controlled both houses of Congress all the time. Yep. And it was because of the New Deal Democrats.
You remember Tip O'Neill?
I do.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Big guy with a big red nose. So he drank a lot, I think.
So what happens when you drink a lot? You get a big red nose. Is this what I have to look forward to?
That's one of them, yeah. No, you don't have to look forward to that. Maybe me, but not you.
Yeah. No, I'm the one drinking.
He was Speaker of the House for like 40 years or something. Something crazy. Let's look it up.
Well, but the whole point of Reagan was that was so entrenched, right? Those programs were so popular and did so much to stabilize society.
And the
Republicans, they wanted to put the money back in the hands of rich people, like the Gilded Age. And the marketing scheme they used to do it was trickle-down economics, supply-side economics, where basically we spoon-feed and coddle corporations and suppliers and manufacturers and business, literally at the expense of society. We allow them to externalize, massively their costs onto society.
Right. Thomas P. O'Neill, Jr. It's Tip O'Neill. How long? Were Reagan and Tip O'Neill friends? Privately, they were always on cordial terms. They were friends, or as Reagan wrote in his memoirs, they were friends after 6 p.m.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah. Weirdos. Let's see. He was under Ford, Carter, and Reagan. So 3 terms. However many years that was. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. Got off topic.
No, that's good.
Blathering. Yeah, and what was I going to say? I had a point earlier. I forgot about it. That's okay. Well, yeah, people don't know their history. We've stopped educating people in general. They're going to take money away from the school systems basically now by getting rid of the Department of Education. They should leave it to the states. Well, I'd hate to grow up in Mississippi or Arkansas or any one of those red states.
Well, we're already ass backwards in the way that we fund education.
Oh, yeah.
So if you live in a rich county,
then
you usually get a good education. If you live in a poor county, you're going to get a shit education. And I don't know, like I think everyone should, if we're going to provide an education to our people, like it should probably be funded equally.
Exactly. Across the board, not depending on your tax base. That's ridiculous. But of course, it does not benefit the rich. So
no, I mean the super rich just want to privatize everything.
They just want to privatize.
They would like to privatize the entire school system.
And if you can't afford it, well, that's too bad.
Yeah, go work in the factory, kid.
Well, from back in the day, or join the military. That's about one of your few choices.
Well, maybe that's what they want. Like maybe that's literally what they want.
Well, yeah, I think that is what they want. But they don't want their own kids sent out for cannon fodder.
Oh God, no. They got bone spurs.
God forbid. Yeah, Captain Bone Spurs.
Can't have that.
Good God. Well, Hey, did you have any more info on the ship?
No, I just thought it was very on brand for America 2025 that we would take our own flagship out to sea and sink it.
No. Well,
it's a reflection on the state of the country, the state of the economy, the state of education, appreciation of history. I hate that they're doing it, but
scrap it for parts and let it die.
They're not even, I mean, they're just going to sink it and turn it into a reef.
Well, that's a perfect analogy because, I mean, look at private equity in this country. It's buying up everything. Blackstone and a handful of small companies like that are they're buying up hotel chains. They're buying up everything.
They're buying up single-family homes. That's the reason that real estate prices have gone up so high. They want us to be a country of renters. I mean, I am a renter, but...
Yeah, I'm a renter, yeah. They don't want people.
But I'm a renter by choice. I mean,
they don't care about generational.
They don't want anyone to be able to own a house.
They don't want you to have the ability. No, they don't want generational wealth.
Yeah, owning a house is really the number one way to acquire generational wealth and to
build wealth. Yeah.
Yeah, is to own a house. And they're seeing that as like, well, that's money that we could be getting our hands on that the middle class is still gripping onto. We've drained every other penny out of the middle class and destroyed it over the last 40 years, but they still have this one thing. So let's get that from them too.
Yeah, you know what these fuckers are? They're just weaselly little middlemen. They're salesmen.
They're parasites.
They're slick parasites, exactly.
They're like a tapeworm in your colon.
Right?
I don't even know. Is that where tapeworms are? Do they live in your?
Yeah, I believe so. My grandfather, my paternal grandfather, had one, and he was a working man. He was a foreman for a construction company for many years, and he got this is back in the 50s probably. He got a tapeworm, and guess who would look through his stool every day until
not you.
No, not me. His wife.
Wait, how come he didn't do it?
That's what you call love. If you're willing to do that.
I don't think I have that in me. I don't have that kind of love in me.
Right. Well, maybe you could pay for someone to take care of that.
I mean, I'd probably pay for someone to do it.
Yeah, pay for someone. But yeah,
I wouldn't be able to dig through somebody's shit though.
I know, right? Well, they give you a medicine, and the medicine kills the tapeworm, but you gotta, because it's segmented, right, as it grows.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Like a bamboo tree.
I'm learning.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? So parts of it may come out, but you don't know for sure it's dead until you see it.
How does one get this condition?
I don't know. It's a parasite.
I'd like to go out of my way to avoid it.
That's a very good question. I'm not looking that one up right now.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I think we've gotten graphic enough.
But yeah, I mean that's what these people are though. They're discussing tapeworms like living in poo.
Yep, and they're living. Well, yeah, they're sucking off the backs of the backbone of this country, working class America.
Yeah, and they found a way to suck on and leech onto every aspect of the government. Like you can't go to a national park these days without.
Oh yeah, and
having to go through like how many middlemen and parasites.
You know how many national park people were fired in the last month?
Like a gazillion, like all of them.
Hundreds and hundreds, yeah.
In a time when national parks are like 10 times busier than they've ever been.
I believe it.
I mean, it's just a fuck you from the government to the people, because that's one of the few things that the government does good for the people is to maintain these national parks.
You know who else had to lay some people off was Sesame Street.
Oh.
They laid off 200 employees yesterday.
Well, probably Tesla is too these days.
Tesla's stock is going way down. That's a silver lining for me.
Their sales are down 60% in Germany.
Good. Yeah,
they're down here too, but they are like tanking in Europe.
I think the rest of the world is seeing what we're enduring with this new government, this new old government that we've got.
Yeah.
And you know, they're not buying our shit. Well, look at Canada. Look at the trade war we're in now. I saw some film of a liquor store up in Canada. Half the shelves are empty because it's booze from America, and they are focusing on red states. So
Yeah, that's smart. That's
yeah,
awesome. I love
they're
that.
not trying to hurt the blue states. And both Pierre Trudeau and I would imagine the Mexican president, I forgot her name, but Pierre Trudeau definitely came out. Is that his name, Pierre? Fuck.
Justin,
Justin, that's right. Pierre was his dad.
he's super cute.
Oh, what a hunk.
He is
But
attractive.
but he came out. He is a good looking guy. Obviously, he's dreamy. But he came
Thank
out
you.
and in his speech, in his "fuck you" to Trump speech
Mm-hmm.
last week or whatever it was, and laying out what Canada's going to do to retaliate, and then all that, and then he said, and now I'd like to say a few words to the American people, and he basically said, "I'm sorry, it's come to this because of your asshole president, but this is what's happening. I don't want to see anyone hurt, especially the working class or whatever." He said, exactly. I just said that because I just had it on my mind. Anyway, the American people. He doesn't want to see anybody suffer, but he's not going to kowtow to fucking Trump.
No,
So,
his first priority is to
to
take
his
care
people.
of Canada. Yeah, to his people and his country.
Exactly. He should be. But
He
it's
should.
nice
I don't think our government sees us that way, but
no. It's just nice of him to acknowledge to the American people, the ones of us who are still sane, that he sees what's happening, and to quote Bill Clinton, he feels our pain. Speaking of Clinton,
clown.
oh yeah, most of them are.
They are. You don't rise up in a system that rewards sociopaths without being a sociopath.
Exactly, and it's a revolving door of the entitled and the rich getting what they want again and again,
sinking all of us in the process,
and letting the rest of us fall by the wayside. Yep.
Yeah, because they don't care.
They don't, unless
They don't
something
care. They don't
happens
care
to
if we
them.
have a stable society. They don't care if we have millions of people living on the street and
Right.
tens of millions living in They don't care.
They don't. It does not matter to them.
No, because they're sociopaths. They don't have empathy. They don't feel empathy. They don't even understand what it is.
True that.
And then they'll turn around and bitch about how there's so much crime, which there's not really. Like, it's down.
Oh
but,
no.
I mean, you can't really create an economy that
Well, that's so they
requires
can get more
poverty and
money.
then be all butthurt when there's crime, because
That's-
I mean, crime
well,
is the
they-
result of poverty.
They exaggerate that so they can get more cops on the street, more money for cops to keep us down further. You know, the old system. That old system. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know for sure, but that's my feeling,
Yeah. Is that a Dead album behind you?
Yes, good eyes. That is the album of the week, and it is American Beauty.
Love it.
There you go.
Let's go see the Dead again.
Oh, and look at this. This is a new one. Oh, we should.
They're coming back to Vegas in the
I
spring.
know they are. Look at this album. Look at that color.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that neat?
Do you have a record player?
I do, but something's wrong with it right now. I'm not sure what's going on. Last time I tried to use it, fucked up. But that's not going to stop me from buying records.
No, because they're cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah, they are. Now I'll get another player if I have to. But anyway, we've tangentized. So
We have.
you talked about your ship.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want
The
to
only thing I was thinking about is basically what I've been talking about, just the dismantling of the federal government by Doge and how they keep fucking up by firing people who are in positions that are meant to keep the American people safe against diseases or airplanes falling out of the sky or whatever else.
Nuclear
and
meltdowns.
And nuclear meltdowns, and they're just firing people willy-nilly, left and right, without a thought. The way dickhead Elon Musk likes to
but
do
their
it is,
AI algorithm says that it's the right thing to do.
exactly. He just wants to walk in and clear out half of everyone working there, just like he did at Twitter, and then realize your fuck ups and rehire the people or hire someone new to fill in the position that you actually really needed someone to work at.
I think one of the more egregious cuts has been the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Oh yeah, it's going to be gone. They're just
There
going to
hasn't been very many things that the government has done that benefits regular people in the last 20 to 30 years, but that was one of the very, very few.
I heard the other day, in the lifetime of that organization, of that department, they have saved the American taxpayers over $30 billion.
Yeah.
Because of claims against fraudulent companies and, companies that are trying to screw over the regular Joe.
Oh yeah, that's making a comeback. Banks defrauding their customers is going to make a huge comeback now.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Elon's getting into the banking business. I'm sure that's coincidental, though.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence.
Yeah. Remember back in the day when there used to be fines and you'd have to pay, and it would just rack up and up and up. And even though you paid your rent check on time, or your rent, paid your rent with your check on time, 2 days later, they take the $5 check instead, or the 10 small checks.
Yeah, they rearrange them so that
and then once you goes through, oh, gee, you went overdraft. So sorry, that's going to be another $35 charge.
Yeah, that stuff used to be, that used to be common, and
they'll just jack it up to $50 now.
Yep.
Yeah, they know, and then they
can do anything they want now. There's no oversight.
There's laws against that, though, aren't there? I believe.
Well, for now,
that's why they don't do it anymore. For now, there are. Yeah.
Well, the enforcement mechanism for it is gone.
Exactly. Yeah, it will have no teeth.
You could report it to the clouds.
Yeah.
The sky.
Yeah. Nothing will happen. We're fucked.
We're fucked. I'm ready to move to Great Britain.
Yeah.
Make America Great Britain again, MAGA.
There you go. Make America Great
Britain. We should get back in the empire, because this whole thing didn't work out very good.
Well, we got Panama and Greenland. Start with those two.
No, I mean we should get back in the British Empire.
Oh, I see. No, I think I've had enough of empires.
Well, we clearly can't be left unsupervised, is my point.
We don't seem to be able to be.
Look what happened.
I know.
I mean, they ended slavery before we did. They have universal health care. They have a much more stable society. Their people are much more sane, reasonable, polite.
In general.
Yeah.
They don't have a bunch of fucking lunatics walking around.
Their education system is better. I'm sure they rank higher on the happiness index than we do.
Oh, hell yeah. Sure.
All because of some tea.
Yeah.
Well, it was a mistake. We should get back in.
A little kerfuffle.
Do you think they'd let us back into the Commonwealth?
Let us back in, please.
Or have we lost our privileges?
My liege.
I'm sorry, Great Britain. Please let us back in.
Oh, dear king. Reminds me of that Monty Python. Dear God, you're so very big. We're all really impressed down here, I can tell you. Anyway, sorry, another tangent.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, they're firing people willy-nilly, people in important positions. And sure, is there government waste? Of course there is. And maybe people should be fired. Maybe there should be positions that don't need to be anymore. But you don't just go in with a fucking, what did he have, his chainsaw? You don't go in with a chainsaw and just start cutting willy-nilly everything. Because, with USAID gone, we would give vaccinations to kids in Africa that are going to get AIDS. These kids haven't gotten their vaccinations in over a month now. There's going to be
they were funding the vaccination for unborn babies.
Yeah, there's going to be
they wouldn't get AIDS from the mothers.
There's going to be an uptick in mortality rates.
Yeah, but they don't care.
No, of course they don't.
Because they don't have empathy. They're sociopaths. They don't care.
No. America first, baby. Fuck the rest of the world.
Well, I mean, what does even that mean? American billionaires first, maybe.
Well, yeah, exactly. But they're
not doing fuck all for America.
Reminds me of the way they control the masses right now and how stupid people are in general. It just reminds me of, what the slave owners did back in the day to get the poor white folk on their side. Because the poor white people, some of them were pretty sympathetic to the slaves. And, they could start to see the writing on the wall. The rich folks, that is, the plantation owners, that if these guys started talking, they might be fucked. So they had to tell the poor white man, "Oh, by the way, you're better than that dumb black man because he's dumb and he's black and he's not a real man." You know?
Yeah, they needed the racism.
So they needed that racism to keep them separated, which is what they do. They keep us divided. Do you like how I put that little lyric in there?
I started getting the song in my head when
Did you? Little earworm. But yeah, that's a big part of what they do. And look the way they got us fighting on these ridiculous culture war issues, as if they matter. You know?
Well, they do matter to certain people and to small groups, but they don't really affect the grand scheme of things.
Right. And
other
they make
than the
it
fact
sound
that
as if they do.
It's an issue they can get us fighting about and divided up along these lines.
Right. And yelling at each other. It's an
issue that regardless of which side of the party or which side of the fight wins, it doesn't threaten the status quo.
Exactly.
Those are the issues that we're encouraged to fight about.
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to talk about income inequality or healthcare or anything like that.
Not anything that really matters.
That affects the status quo, and we can't have that.
Right. And you know, you try to argue that with these people that have been brainwashed basically by the conservative party and the conservative movement, that, you know, we say we can do healthcare, you know, other countries do it. We can do education for all, free education. We can do this. We have the money, we have the means. All we got to do is put it together and plan it. And their first reaction is, "Oh, we can't afford that. No, we can't afford it. No. Not enough money. All our money is going towards the
have you ever noticed that if it's for the military, if it's to bail out banks, if it's to bail out corporations, that no one ever asked that question.
Yeah, bailing out
the no one ever like, how are you going to pay for it, or we can't afford it. It's
bailing
like,
out the banking
how much do you need? We got
systems.
you.
Did you hear about Jamie Dimon maybe a month or so back?
No.
Talking about people, how they need to get back to the office, and he's just being an asshole.
Yeah, because for sure that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. I kind of want to see what he had to say, because it was a bag of bullshit. It was more privileged elite crap. You know, he's like, I work 7 days a week, blah, 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 blah. I'm first one in the office, last one out. You know, what a dick. Screw you cocksucker. He's what? The president of Goldman Sachs, right?
Yeah, Goldman Sachs.
CEO.
Goldman Sachs that's basically run the Treasury Department from like every president.
He's the CEO. He's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. Sorry.
Okay.
Wrong. But he's still an asshole.
Well, he can get fucked, and so can JP Morgan in his grave.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. So here's a quote from Lyndon Johnson that I always really like, and it kind of goes along with what you were saying.
Yeah.
He said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. He'll give him someone to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a strategy. It's a strategy. Yeah. And they're too stupid to see that that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's a total strategy. It's like the three guys with the cookies.
Give them trans people, give them immigrants, give them somebody
to look down to get all pissed off about.
And they'll empty their pockets for you.
Yep.
Because they're stupid.
Yeah. You know, there was a movie that good old Andy Griffith did back in his early days. It's a black and white film. I've got it, but I can't remember the name of it right now. But he plays a demagogue who comes to power. And he's from the South. He's got that good old boy charm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this scene where he's laying in bed and he's just talking to himself, you know, to the sky, narrating basically to the audience watching it in the movie theaters. But just talking about how stupid people are, and all he has to do is say a few nice things here and there, and he'll get him on his side just like that and give him all his money. And it's just amazing. It's like, it's just, you know, and that was filmed, you know, during the height of fascism around the world. And maybe not the height, but, you know, it was starting to wane, but there was still Pinochet in Chile and Pol Pot. And, you know, there were still despots around the world.
Yeah.
No more Mussolini or Hitler, but still, there's still plenty of that going on.
Well, that shit's making a comeback right now.
and it's making a comeback right now, all over the world, which is amazing. I just don't understand it. Why? Again, going back.
Well, it goes back to people only remember a generation back. They don't even understand.
Remember the saying: "Those who do not learn from history are doomed or condemned to repeat it."
Well, the problem is that those of us that do know our history are doomed to repeat it with all these dumb motherfuckers.
All the other dumb motherfuckers, because they have the power. Because, well, they are supporting the power that is letting it happen. So, yeah. So
we're keep them stupid, keep them dumb, and keep them uneducated.
Yep, keep them uneducated and pissed off at each other. And they'll have no time to realize how we're all getting screwed. Right?
Yes.
Did you take a picture?
I did. I took a picture of the screen.
Oh, nice. How's it look? Weird with those weird lines in it?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. It always seems like I take a picture on the television. It's, it looks weird from one medium to the phone.
Yeah, no, it seems to be okay when you take a picture of the computer screen.
Oh, I see. It's a computer. Gotcha.
Well, we're almost at an hour.
Are we? That's pretty good.
We're at 56 minutes, 56 and a half minutes.
Right on. I think we covered a pretty fair amount. We may have been a little redundant with our last show, but that's okay. I think
it's fine.
Our last show has been, again,
that was forever ago. I don't even remember. It's been too long ago.
6 weeks of a presidency, and we haven't talked in about.
Wait, has it been 6 weeks since we did a show?
No, it's been 3 weeks since we've done a show. I'm saying it's been 6 weeks.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
It's been 6 weeks since we've had a new president.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's been about 2.5 or 3 weeks since we've had a show. So still, a lot of the things that are happening are what we've already talked about a little bit. I mean, there have been, we did we even touch on the Zelensky meeting?
No. Well,
we didn't talk about that. Let's give that a quick.
Hang on, my computer battery for some reason it's not. Hang on, I gotta plug it in.
Plug it in.
For some reason, it's not plugged in.
What is going on over there? It's that Prosecco. Jelly bean. Okay, what should I do to entertain? I could do this. Magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi, I'm just trying to entertain the audience while you're away.
That's pretty good.
My hand trick.
Sorry, somehow Macs have that magnetic thing that plugs the power thing in. And somehow I think when I was moving my stuff around, it fell out.
Yeah.
And I just got a message on my computer saying the battery was going to die.
That's true. So
it's plugged back in now. I fixed it.
Okay, good.
Crisis averted.
Just a quick synopsis on that debacle at the White House a week ago with Trump and JD and Marco Rubio, who was trying to become a part of the couch, like Homer Simpson fading into the bushes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was obviously planned.
And, clearly.
And it was all a bag of bullshit. It was lies. It was a bunch of crap. All they did was belittle him and berate him in front of the world. But, I mean, it was terrible. And then that one idiot, some douchebag from a right-wing journalist asked him why he didn't wear a suit.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? He's the president of
and look what Elon Musk wears to the White House, to cabinet meetings.
Oh,
he's wearing a t-shirt and a hat.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, yeah, he's wearing a suit now, though.
MAGA.
He messed with him. Yeah,
Dumbass.
Dark MAGA. What a dipshit.
He's so stupid. And just cringe as hell, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the script that's on it is the old, they call it Nazi script.
It's not accident either. It's not accidental.
Kyle, baby. No, not at all.
He went and spoke to a far right wing, almost Nazi gathering in Germany the next day.
Yeah, I heard about that. The guy is no good. People
tell you who they are, believe him, because he's telling us who he is.
Exactly. Fascism is knocking down everything, oligarchy all the way.
Well, and it's the marriage of private business and government.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. But I was gonna say the only good thing that came out of that meeting, I guess he went on Fox News after Zelensky and talked about it, and I guess he's talked with Macron and who it is in charge of France? Macron.
In France, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I forget who the Prime Minister of England is right now.
Oh no, there's been too many lately.
I know there's been so many. It's been crazy, hard to keep up. But somebody said that they've been offering him advice on how to deal with Trump, and also he met with some European world leaders at some summit or something like a few days later, and or a couple days later, and after the debacle, and they pledged their full support behind him, and they're going to continue to support the war effort and help him keep the Russians from taking over his country. So, and Trump said that Zelensky started the war.
He said that Ukraine started it.
It's like up is down. They
yeah, and
people are defending it.
They're defending that too.
I know, we're truly living in dystopian times.
I mean, we're talking about people that know history like 2 generations back. Like this is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, they can't even remember 4 years ago.
Well, it's selective memory.
It is. Well, yeah, that's true. And it's same thing about, this is my point from earlier.
Or just like cult mentality.
Yeah, it is. And it's the same thing about saying, make America great again. We want to go back to the time when it was great, which was supposedly in the 50s. But you know what? They're only cherry picking certain things. I mean,
if they want to go back to the marginal tax rate of the 1950s and Keynesian economics, like fucking bring it on, man. I'm all for it.
I mean, no, they don't want that. They don't
do
want
that shit without the racism. I'm all for it.
No, they want the racism.
They really, really want the racism.
They just want all the nice stuff.
That's like the main thing that they want. They love it.
That works for them. Yeah, it's
they're poisoning the blood of our nation.
It's a crazy, crazy country we live in. I never realized how it's, and we don't learn these things in our history classes. We haven't for years. Some stuff we've never learned, especially not things about our terrible racist past. But how the fuck are we going to move on as a country if we don't look at it and acknowledge it?
Well, I think there are a lot of powerful entities in this country that benefit from us not moving on.
Yeah, they profit from us not.
They want to keep the status quo.
As long as they keep us fighting each other, then they can stay in power.
Yeah, if they can keep it a right versus left thing, they can divide up all the correct policy positions on either side and have us arguing about bullshit. But when people realize that it's a class battle and not a ideology battle, that's what they're afraid of. And that's what Bernie Sanders is all about. Telling everyone like, hey, everyone benefits from Medicare for all. Everyone benefits from free college. This is the 1% against everybody else. This isn't right versus left. This isn't Democrat versus Republican. And when everybody starts to see that and that's the actual dichotomy, then we'll get somewhere. But there's just so many powerful entities and so many platforms that are incentivized to maintain the status quo.
Yeah.
And so few that are against it.
I was watching a short speech by David Brooks of the New York Times, conservative journalist David Brooks, old school conservative. And he was speaking at the it's called ARC, the Alliance for the Responsible Civilization or something like that. And but his speech was about America and how we are a class system and how we got there. I'm talking about all the different ways that the rich and powerful have done the things they've done throughout the history. Mm-hmm. And he gave specific examples from like the beginning of our country up until modern day. And it was about maybe a 20-minute speech, 30-minute speech, something like that. But just hearing that and realizing that, yes, supposedly this is America, the great American melting pot. We're all supposed to be equanimity everywhere, and everyone has a chance to make it. If you work hard, then you should be able to get the fruits of your labor, and that whole idea. But that's not the way it's worked out because of And he lists everything out that the rich and powerful have done over the generations, either intentionally or sometimes it's just worked out that way because they see it. The rich and powerful see it the way they see it. And so why would they take into consideration the people who don't have the power or the money, So the way they've set up the system over the years is it just enforces the idea of classism. And people don't see it as a class system because they still believe, the average MAGA voter still believes that someday they're going to be the next millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of time. They'll be there. So
meanwhile, upward mobility in the United States is less than almost every other industrialized country.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. You're most likely gonna die in the socioeconomic class that you were born into.
Right. Or even less, depending on how your life turned out.
Exactly.
So next generations don't do better than the one before them anymore.
That didn't used to be the case.
Never was.
I think maybe the boomers were the last generation to do better than their parents.
Seems like it.
And then they ate up all the resources. They're all collecting pensions and Social Security, and they want to take it away from everybody else.
Yeah, they're fine, but
they ruin the government. They ruin the planet. And these motherfuckers,
who's got a pension anymore?
Dumb boomer motherfuckers are still controlling the government. Like how they're in their 80s now. Like we're Gen Xers. We've never had any political power.
Yeah.
And honestly, we need to do a show about this. Honestly, maybe that's for the best, because if you look at the January 6th rioters, most of them are like our age, Gen X. They're Gen Xers. It's the same stupid generation that burned up Woodstock, and kind of a whole generation of trolls before trolling was a thing.
Right.
And so maybe it's better that Gen X hasn't had power. Maybe just skip us over and go right to millennials. I don't know.
It seems that's the way it's going. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's on brand that we got forgotten again.
Oh, yeah, of course. We always get forgotten. We're used to it.
I'm kind of an exennial, though. I'm kind of.
Yeah, you're on the cusp. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can straddle it and see both worlds. I didn't mean. Straddling the line.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway. RDR. Yeah.
Super Prosecco turning my face red.
Yeah, as long as, I think so. As long as, I just hope we can turn things around after Trump's gone. If he's gone, that's the thing. Is he going to try and seize power violently?
You know what? I don't think
he already tried to do.
I don't think anything's off the table right now.
Doesn't seem like it, no.
And even if we do get rid of him in 4 years, it's going to take another complete 4-year term to undo all the damage that he's done, or that he will do.
We're looking at probably the next 20 years, probably until I'm dead.
And we're still going to have the same dumb fuckers in the Supreme Court for how long,
Exactly. I'm not going to have a nice country ever again for the rest of my life.
I know. Doesn't it make you want to go to another country? Or rejoin the British Empire or something?
Yeah, something. In a lot of ways it does. The best times that I can think of, economically and every other way in this country was when I was a kid. That's it. My parents had a house. My dad owned his own business.
Yeah. And most people did own a house.
My mom didn't work. She was raising us.
Yeah,
and
me too.
They made money. They did all right,
That's impossible to do now. Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or something along those lines. That's impossible to do.
Or CEO of some company, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to be able to live on one income, own a house, have a stable life.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you're in one of the professions that pulls in that kind of dough.
Yeah.
Like my buddy Andy from college. Andy, he and his wife, she became a stay-at-home mom when they had kids because he worked for a law firm and made bucks.
Those guys can do it.
Yeah.
But back when even our parents' generation, you could get a job in a shoe store.
Oh yeah, you could still do all right.
Yeah. And own a house, have a family, have one parent at home, one parent working. And it's crazy to me that the people who want the woman in the home raising the kids, who want you to have more kids, raise a family, all this are perpetuating the same economic system that makes that fucking impossible to do.
Exactly. And
Which one is it? Which one do they want? They can't have both.
Right, but they do. And they can't see it. They don't understand it for some reason.
Idiots.
Because they want it. They do want it both. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's infuriating at times when you think about it.
It is. It definitely is.
And yeah, it does make me think. I never thought this when I was younger, but I think about it a lot now. Is maybe moving to another country someday. And who knows when that someday would be. But
it's so cold in Canada.
I know.
That's the most reasonable.
Well, what about
I really did enjoy. I spent 2 years or 2 weeks in England in September and really liked it there.
Yeah? Ooh, what about
But it
Brazil?
was also rainy and cloudy a lot. I don't like that.
How about Brazil? Brazil is awesome.
I've never been there.
My ex-wife is from Brazil, and we went there twice when the kids were really little, and it's beautiful. She grew up in Rio. Yes, I mean, if you have enough money to live in a safe neighborhood, there are some. Well,
just that's the same as Vegas, where I live now.
There are some notoriously dangerous neighborhoods, but they're not everywhere. But it's a beautiful place. The people are really friendly and it's laid back. And they got rid of their Trump last time. That guy's that guy's in jail.
Oh, really? Bolsonaro, right?
Bolsonaro, yeah. He's in jail.
Well, that's good news. I didn't know that.
I know. Yeah, that is good news. So luckily, Brazil has turned the corner on the fascism thing. It seems like.
Yeah, it's just the thing that sucks is like there's so much damage is going to be done before some of these people get it through their heads,
right?
Or enough of them do that we can get rid of him.
That is very true.
Hopefully, the midterms, will kind of put the brakes on a lot of it.
I know, fingers crossed.
But I mean, if the Democrats come back out again and they're running corporate shells and not offering anything and not no plan, nothing like they've been doing, then it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, it'll just be more of the same. They need to step up and grow a pair.
Seriously, they have been so cowardly and just so.
I want to see some fucking outrage from Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, he doesn't have it in him.
He's got that at all. He's terrible.
The most spineless leader I've ever seen.
Why don't they make AOC the leader? She's got balls of steel. I love her. She's awesome. But
she's pretty good. I got some issues with her, but she's pretty good.
Well, she's also not crypto.
It's a very low bar, but she's pretty good.
She's pretty poisonous to the regular mainstream Democrats, so they don't want her in power.
Yeah, she's capitulated to them a lot more than she indicated that she was going to.
Really?
She's not been in office the way that she said she would be when she campaigned.
Well.
So in a lot of ways, she's been a little bit of a disappointment. But
unfortunately, they do have to make compromises.
Yeah.
They used to make compromises all the time.
She was supposed to be there to be a disruption, and she's not really been one.
Well, she has been.
And she still gets screwed. She still gets screwed on all of the committee assignments and everything. Like she's playing ball and trying to compromise to move up or whatever, and she still gets screwed over every single time.
Yeah. That's too bad.
She needs to make noise, appeal to the people, appeal to the voters.
Create
outrage instead of trying to play the inside game.
I see her on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, I do too.
Talking to voters, So I don't know
what
to tell you about her.
She's good. Like she's good. But
make up your mind.
I just thought she was going to be better than she is.
Oh, okay.
I had higher expectations.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Based on her own words from her own campaign.
Yeah. There's still some good Democrats. I mean, Katie Porter, I like her, out of California. She just got reelected, I think.
Oh, that's good. She's a good one.
She's really good. And the squad, but they lost one of them, the black bald chick. I forget her name.
Omar?
No.
Rashida Tlaib.
No. Tall, bald. She's got alopecia, whatever the hair thing is, where you can't grow hair.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget her name.
I do not know.
She got voted out. I think she's out of Arizona, maybe, or something in the Southwest.
Okay.
Maybe. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, yeah, there's still a few good ones, but in general, they are kind of all corporatists. It seems like.
Well, even if they're not, when they get there, they become that pretty quickly.
Right. I'd like to see some Democratic town halls and compare those to what's going on with the Republicans.
Yeah.
Of course, leadership told the Republicans, just don't have any more town halls. That way you don't.
Yeah, I saw that because they're not going. They're not going well.
What a bunch of cowards!
And,
yeah,
and they want to
say their asses ripped.
They want to say, well, this is all just AstroTurf. They're all just Democrats. But like, look at them. It's all old white people.
Yeah, they're all Republican voters. They're pissed off. There was a guy in Michigan, Wyandotte County, maybe, I think, it sticks out, but he just got up and walked out. He said, thank you all for coming. I want to thank the veterans for their service, blah, 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 blah. Have a good evening. And they were in the middle of a fucking discussion. He just drops the mic.
Yeah, no, a guy had just asked a hard question.
Yep, he just walked away.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was about veterans benefits or something.
What a bunch of spineless
And he's like, yeah, thanks for coming. It's good to be here. I'm out. It's George Costanza going out on a high note. That's it for me. I'm out.
I'm out. And thank you all for coming.
On that note,
God. Yeah, on that note, let's that's on that high note. I think we're done.
I can't do it.
What happened? Oh.